This is Rob Haydak from Cage Fury Fighting Championships, and you're watching Combat Insiders.
Welcome back, Combat Insiders. Nick Portella, Joshua Furs here. We have a very special guest via Skype. We got Rob Haydak, president of CFFC, and we also have Arias Garcia, the matchmaker of CFFC, joining us. They have a huge show coming up in just a few days on December 14th at the Borgata in Atlantic City, New Jersey. It's going to be an awesome show. It's going to be on UFC Fight Pass. I guess Rob and Arias, thanks for joining us. We know it's kind of been last minute, but how are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good considering typical fight week stuff. We're getting to the final stages now. We just got word probably 2 hours ago all fighters are medically cleared. Awesome. So we have a full card intact for our first event on UFC Fight Pass, so we're pretty stoked about that.
If you don't mind, before we get into the specifics about the card, I'd like to maybe travel back in time a little bit. What got you into the fight business?
That started back in 2009. I always had a little bit of a background in martial arts, in karate, black belt in karate, but I wrestled my whole life, wrestled through college, so always appreciated the martial arts, became a fan of UFC when it started back in the day with Tank Abbott and some of the old school guys. I really enjoyed it. In 2009, had an opportunity to structure a deal at a casino. Wanted to do a couple shows and see how it went. Quickly realized that this was something I wanted to do in a big capacity, and started putting the dream team together. And this guy over here has been the matchmaker since day one. Has done an amazing job. I think we were adding up the numbers about a week ago. We've sent over 100 guys to Bellator and to the UFC. So I think that's a testament to the staff, the promotion, and what we do.
Arias, I guess the same question to you, man. Matchmaking, I'm sure it's not an easy part because you have to deal directly with the fighters and everything else. I mean, what is your job kind of entail?
Well, basically, it's kind of looking at the prospects all across the country, primarily the East Coast, and just having a good connection to managers and fight camps. Seeing who's available and then just trying to match them up with what I think would be a great fight and which would further each of the fighters' careers. Sometimes it's harder than other times. There's fighter A is willing to fight anybody, and then fighter B wants to be a little bit more careful about their career, so they might avoid, certain fighters. But I've been blessed to, that Rob gave me an opportunity just to sign whoever I want, and I've been able to do that. And fortunately, I've been able to sign some really good guys that have gone on and prospered, in the UFC and, like Rob said, Bellator.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you guys, for me, it's actually good because you guys are in my backyard. Philly is right here, 15-minute drive. There's tons of promotions out there, but you guys are constantly in the top. Constantly. No matter how many come and go, you guys always remain. What do you think it is that you're doing differently that holds you, always at the top?
I would say it's a number of things. I think it's our partners, and by partners I mean the venues that we host our events at. The Borgata in Atlantic City is really a flagship property. Actually, globally, it was ranked the #1 casino in the world this past year. So to have a partnership with them, I think speaks volumes. In your neck of the woods, we'll be at Parks. We signed an agreement there, so we're going to do a bunch of fights there, and all throughout the country this year for that matter. So I would say our venues are up there. I would say the treatment of the fighters is number one. From the time they arrive to the time they leave, we treat them like the professionals that they are. And again, I think the fact that we go out and we procure the best talent in the world, we don't have a lot of fights that fall off. When you come to CFFC, you're not getting any BS. We're going to do our job. We just ask the fighters to do theirs, and so far it's worked out for us.
And you guys have done shows at 2300 Arena in Philly too. I personally like that venue. I mean, I've been to Borgata and stuff, but I like that place.
We're a fan of that venue. It's a very blue collar. It's great for TV. We were there for a couple of years, all while Parks was building their event center. We knew that was coming. 2300 Arena, though, again, is a really neat venue. I'll miss that venue, but I'm not sad to go to Parks.
Parks is all new and shiny now, so.
Yes, it is.
All right,
Great
so
venue too, and it's very quaint venue. Only holds maybe 1,400 people. So every seat is a great seat. I had a chance to go see a boxing event there about a month ago, and it was awesome. So I can't wait to get there on March 2nd.
I guess let's fast forward now to, I guess I'm going to give you guys the floor. Let's talk about the show itself. Tell us about the card and, what can we expect?
Tell them how much money you spent, Arias. I'll let Arias talk about the card. He did a really great job.
Yeah, that's the one thing I do. Like Rob does, hand me a blank check and says, "Hey, just try to, make the most of it." We have.
Can you guys turn the camera just a little bit? And
Sure.
Yeah, that way. There we go.
So, obviously we have 3 title fights going on there. Unfortunately, Joe Lowry suffered, got into a car accident. I think he broke his femur, so he's out. So Cesar Balmaceda, a local Atlantic City kid, he's fought for us his entire professional career. He's undefeated, 6-0, I believe 5-0. He's fighting a really tough guy named Damian Norris out of Team Alpha Male, 10-2. Cesar, I've seen a couple interviews with Rob before. Cesar really did ask for the toughest opponent we could find because we found some other local options that were not as tough as Damian, or record-wise not as tough as Damian, but he wanted Damian 10-2 Team Alpha Male. So that's going to be for the interim lightweight title. So when Joe Lowry is ready to go and he's all healed up, the winner of that fight will face Joe Lowry for the non-interim title, or the actual title. I'm glad to really have Pat Sabatini back. Pat Sabatini will be defending his featherweight title against Damon Blackshear, 6-2. We were going to have Damon on a couple shows ago. Unfortunately, the fight fell off, so I'm excited to see him. And also, I've been really after this guy for a while. You probably know him, Nick, because I know you're on the Ring of Combat scene, but Alexander Keshtov, the guy is 8-0. He's an absolute animal from K Dojo. I've been trying to get him for a couple years now. I've had him sign. The guy fell off. He was injured, but, found a guy for him. Really tough guy. Actually, the guy took the fight on a week's notice, Andre Bernardo. I found a guy that's willing to fight Alexander Keshtov on a week's notice. That's just, great within itself. So that's going to be a really good fight. That's going to be for our bantamweight, title. That's currently vacant. As you know, Aljamain held the title. Jimmy Rivera held the title. They've all gone to the UFC. Ricky Bandejas, who did a great knockout of Gallagher over in Bellator. And I'm also really, really excited to see Chase Hooper. We've got him on loan from the UFC on a developmental deal. I'm just really excited to see, if he's really up to, all the hype that's come around him. I love his nickname, the Teenage Dream. And, he's fighting a real tough guy, LaShawn Alcox, 7-8, but he just won in Bellator, first round knockout, and he's got a lot of boxing, background to him. So I'm really looking forward to those fights. I mean, top down, we have 11 fights. Top down is hard to pick which ones you really, really like, but I would center on the title fights and Chase's debut with us.
It's funny you said him. I had him on not that long ago, and he's a trip to talk to. Like, at his age, you could tell he genuinely is just like, I just want to fight. And he has stories of like being underage and trying to get signed, but that's a whole nother thing. And as for the Warrior Tribe guys, because they fight up in Stroudsburg, I see all them. I think everybody in that gym will take a fight on a day's notice. I don't think there's one guy that won't. And Pat, you did mention him. I actually trained at NPR, so I've got to see him train. He teaches jiu-jitsu over there and everything else. So just from those 3 fights alone, for people who don't know, that's a pretty hefty. If you had no other fights, it would still be worth the price of admission.
Absolutely.
And don't forget about the female fight. That fight, to me, has got Fight of the Night written all over it.
Yep, 100%. Also, too, so I heard in a report, and I couldn't find anything else about it, but CM Punk doing the commentating for you guys? Is that?
Yes, he is. He's very good friends with one of our partners in the promotion, Dave Schaller.
Okay.
You guys may know Dave from back in the day with the UFC. Was a head of PR. He's now head of PR for the 76ers.
Yeah.
We started having that conversation while we were out there in Vegas. A lot of people don't know CM has done commentating in the past. I had a chance to meet him. I believe it was in Chicago. He was out there, and Paul Felder was fighting, and sat down. He's actually a pretty big student of the game.
Yeah.
And it's always interesting to see, you're doing something right when half the people hate you and half the people love you. And CM sort of falls in that category. You have so many people chiming in saying, well, this guy, he's an embarrassment. He's this, he's that. I mean, they're insane, first of all.
Yeah.
CM is a class act. He takes his craft very serious. He knows the sport. Did he have the best showing in the UFC? The answer is no, but that doesn't disqualify him as a commentator. I'll tell you this much. We signed him
correct
probably about a month ago, and the very next day he was calling and saying, get me as much of the information on the fighters as you possibly can. He's really focusing in on the human interest side of things, not so much about this guy's got a great right hand, he's got a great arm bar. He wants to know what propels this guy to fight in MMA. What compels you to get inside the cage? And I think that dynamic is going to be very intriguing to the casual fan base.
It's a game of angles, and he's just taking one that no one takes normally. Normally when we do the stuff, we talk about this guy had a flying triangle last week, and so that's a good angle. Be interesting to see. I'll listen, no doubt.
Yeah, we're excited. I will tell you, our analytics are off the charts for this fight. UFC is excited. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, just doing articles and researching that you guys are. It's pretty much a sold out house, right?
We're actually oversold right now. So
wow.
I've been back and forth on the phone with the Borgata. We have a couple fighters that have a couple tickets. We're sold out.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Although I can't recall, all your shows are sold out. I can't remember when's the last one that wasn't. They're all pretty much complete sellouts. You guys do good, man. I'm telling you. You got to track stuff when it's your backyard.
Shows I wasn't involved with didn't sell out.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was absent for 2 shows. Those shows didn't sell out, but
they were close to a sellout.
They're close
they
to
were
sellout.
close.
There you go.
Okay.
But
Wow.
no, we're excited. The Borgata is a great partner. We really have a great team of people behind the scenes that do just a tremendous amount of work on digital, social. We feel on the regional side of things, we're at the forefront on every new technology that comes out. People are most surprised about is we have a very large casual fan base. And that's extremely important to us because you guys know on the regional scene, promoters tend to rely too much on the fighters to sell tickets.
Right.
Yeah.
A fight falls off, and then it's, oh my God, what are we going to do? This guy has 200 tickets sold.
Yeah.
So we're really after that casual fan that comes to an arena like the Borgata, has a great experience and wants to come back for more. We've really seen the transition from when we first started 9 years ago. 99.9% of the tickets were sold by the fighters. That number is cut in half now. And that's a testament to our team, the superstars behind the scenes that don't get the recognition of, Arias Garcia.
Wow.
Yeah, and you're right. There are times where we'll have guys on from other promotions, and they I don't want to say they're stressed, but I think it mentally screws with them. Like, I got these 20 tickets I got to sell, and you got to do this, and you hear it all the time. You guys know it's nothing new, So the fact that you guys are able to get the numbers down.
This week was the opposite. I'm calling the fighters, asking them, can I get some of their tickets? So, that's nice. I hope that trend continues. But again, it has to do with our venues. It has to do with our athletes, and it has to do with the stars behind the scene of CFFC that a lot of people don't know about, the Brad Boltons, the Jamie Sims. We have a team behind us that does, the stuff that doesn't get the acknowledgement.
And I guess this next question is kind of to the both of you. I guess, it's CFFC 71, right? So where do you guys see yourself in the future? Maybe 10 shows from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. What's the path that you guys, are you guys on the path that you want to be on? You just want to keep kind of building on that? Or do you want to be, even bigger than where you're at now?
For a while, probably 3 years ago, the conversation started with the UFC about the potential of selling our library, being part of UFC Fight Pass. At that time, I didn't feel our infrastructure was in place to make that leap. And then, more recently when Dave Schaller got involved, we reached back out to the UFC and we said, hey, we're ready to go. We've got the talent. Our production value is where it should be. We went out, we structured a deal. Where do we see ourselves in the future? Hopefully still tied to the number one organization in the world, and that's the UFC. For us to be able to leverage the people that they have internally to get pointers on, public relations, marketing, it's invaluable. So we don't want to go anywhere. I guess that's the best way to say it, except for expand our partnership with them. We have the opportunity to do many shows this year. We're in talks. We'll be doing shows in California, Seattle. We're looking at Pittsburgh right now. So we're not just going to be fixated here in the Northeast. We're going to strategically go to markets that make sense for us, that has homegrown talent, and just keep building on our relationship with the UFC.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, so I guess where can, for people who maybe don't know, you guys are super easy to find at CFFC, but tell people where they can find you, I guess, on social media.
Yeah, there is.
I'm an old guy, so I'm just on Facebook. My first name, last name, that's it. I tried Instagram, I tried Twitter. I just Facebook.
Yeah, you guys are super easy to find. I mean, you guys are. I found all the information and needed, and
we were trying to block you earlier on Skype, but somehow you got through. I tried.
Yeah. We still got through. That's the way we do. We still get through. We're very we have perseverance, but that's awesome. You guys again. Huge show coming up, Borgata, once again, at December 14th, so just a few days away. These guys are in the middle of fight week, so I'm sure it's super stressed. We don't want to keep them too much longer. So
does he look stressed?
No.
He looks quite relaxed. Yeah, he looks good.
Yeah, he's having a promotion.
There you go. But like you said,
matchmaking is the hardest job in any promotion.
Hey.
There you go. You heard it here first.
I can believe between you two. I don't know. I can believe it. I'm sure matchmaking is stressful, but 3 title fights on the card again at the Borgata, Atlantic City. Tickets are oversold, so catch it on your local wherever you got the UFC Fight Pass. So check it out. Please don't miss it.
First 2 weeks are free. Make sure you sign up.
Yeah, first 2 weeks are free, so if you don't already have it, just sign up for the free trial and catch it, and I think you'll be glad you did. So for Rob Haydak, for Arias Garcia, for Nick Portella, Josh Furs, this is Combat Insiders, and we're out.